I felt for you. Oh, I regret for losing the one who loved me, for who I can't go back to. Walking through all the dust, memories and frame, a past we simply let fade. Oh, but I don't close the door, waiting a chance for when we'll be back again. You make me feel so crazy, still in love with you.
I love it when the drink's nearly empty. Hello and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. This video is actually something I'm really excited to do just because most people know how obsessed I am with musicals. I even did a video on the musical theatre tag. I am doing this one based around musicals mainly because the last few days I've been obsessed with one musical album right now, and like this one I've been obsessed with for ages, but I literally just can't stop listening to it, so I thought I'm gonna have to like do a video on this. So this video basically is my top 10 musical soundtracks, not just songs, because I would not be able to pick 10 of them. Like it'd have to be a long list of like 100. I mean, I struggled to pick 10 soundtracks. I had to cross like 2 off. I had like a list, and then I realised 2 of my other ones that like have been my favourite for the last 5-6 years had to be on there, and they weren't on there. So I had to like delete 2 of them off there. So unfortunately, still have to get the cut. I was gonna do my least 10 favourite musicals, my least favourite musicals, 10 of my least favourite musical soundtracks, but I couldn't think of 10. I thought of 7, and then I was like, you know what, like, I don't actually hate them. I have songs from each of those albums that I like. I'm just not a fan of the full soundtrack, so I was like, I can't put that in there because it's not true. I would just be lying for the sake of making a video, and I was like, I'm not going to lie. So I just thought I'd just stick with the top 10, which was hard. But before we get into this video, I would love it if you gave it a huge thumbs up, commented down below, subscribed to my channel, and yeah, anyway, let's roll on with the video. So I have actually written my top 10 favourite musical soundtracks on the back of this card, and I'm just going to read them out and actually talk about them. They are in no particular order. They are just in an order, they just literally a list of musical soundtracks that I love and that I literally wouldn't be able to live my day without. Like, most people can walk around town listening to, you know, pop songs or R&B. I walk around listening to musicals because it's my thing. When I say I walk around listening to them, I tend to listen to them and sing them out loud so the whole world can hear me, and I'm like, probably should stop that. So yeah, but also I am going to give you a few songs that are my favourite from these soundtracks just because why not. And yeah, so let's just do this. So my first one on this list is Heathers, the musical. If you saw my recent weekly vlog, you would have heard me talk about the TV series Heathers. I don't know if I've explained, I can't remember if I explained in the vlog how obsessed I am with the musical Heathers and the film. I haven't seen the film, but I do know the story of the film and I love the story. And I love the musical, and it's just by far one of my favourite musical soundtracks of all time. And I love the soundtrack from top to bottom. Like, I have at least one song I wouldn't say I hate. I'm just not a massive fan of, and it's called Blue. I don't know why I'm not a fan of it. I just don't like really care for the song. Like, the song has meaning to the show, and it makes a lot of sense to the show, but it means nothing to me. So I don't know, but I love all of it. I can't comprehend how much I love this soundtrack. The soundtrack is amazing, and it's good to know that someone in my house is also as obsessed with the Heathers as I am. So it's very nice to hear that, because it means I can play the soundtrack around the house and they know what it is. Because most people who I knew or know didn't know of it. So something else about Heathers that is exciting to me is next Friday, the 1st of March, so basically this Friday, the London West End performance of comes out, soundtrack comes out, and they've got a couple of new songs on there. So this is where this is where the idea of my favourite song comes under. Because if you looked at the Heathers now, if you just got the original Heather soundtrack, this song wouldn't be on there because it's not in the off-Broadway one in New York. It is on the West End one. It is called I Say No. It is so good. Carrie Hope Fletcher, her voice is just beyond amazing. And if I had listened to that with just the original soundtrack, it would sound like Barrett Gilbert Reed, who played the original Heather in Off-Broadway, who has the cast recording one from the Broadway one, and oh my god, her voice is amazing, and so is Carrie Hope Fletcher, so she did an amazing job. I Say No is my number one favourite now from the Heathers. My other ones would be Fight For Me, because it's just, I love the song. Beautiful, just because again, it's a good song. Candy Store. I'm going to give you one more because I could give you the whole list of the whole album otherwise. And 17 is by far another one of my favourites. So, yeah, I listen to this album like non-stop. So I do know the words for all the songs off by heart. And I could probably, if you want, actually no, I'm not going to say if you wanted to have a video of me just singing the songs because I'm not going to do it. Let's be real. My next one is Hamilton. I have yet to see Hamilton, and I'm still annoyed that I haven't been able to see it. Obviously, they brought it out in the UK, which is great for me because I live in the UK, but their tickets are very expensive. Living as a student is hard enough as it is with money, that I'm pretty sure I would not be able to afford tickets right now. I have no way of affording tickets, so it's great fun. But I'm gonna try and get some at some point because I want to see it so bad. It is literally my dream show to see right now. It's on my top list of ones I want to see. But the soundtrack is by far my favourite. I just love it. So a few of my favourite songs from Hamilton would be I Say No. That's Heathers. Say No to This. History Has Its Eyes on You. Remember Where It Happens. There's another one. I'm trying to think. Oh, Quiet Uptown. I just love those songs. I mean, I love the whole album, but they're my 4 favourite songs. Actually, and the Alexander Hamilton songs, just because I love to rap along outside it, because I can, because I know the words, because I listen to it so much. So, the next one is the Legally Blonde musical soundtrack. I listened to this over when I was like 16. I had just left school, and I was just going through Spotify. And I don't know, I just fell in love with the music. I loved the songs. I just loved it. It definitely tells you the story of Legally Blonde through those songs. Like, it would just remind me of the first time I watched Legally Blonde and the story of it. So I can't say like how much of it I love it. So my favourite songs from that would be Chip on My Shoulder, which is a really, I love the story. I love the song. I love the story between. It's a kind of story between Elle and Emmett. Another one would be Serious, just because it's got a cool backing through it, and how it just again reminds me of the movie so much. And Legally Blonde, which is near the end of the soundtrack. My next one is something I have listened to and watched so many times from when I was a kid to now. I remember watching this for the first time when I was about 5 with my mum on Good Friday, and it's Jesus Christ Superstar. Jesus Christ Superstar is based around the Easter story. So when, that week of before Jesus gets crucified, it's basically based on that. And I fell in love with the story because when I was younger, obviously I used to go to church all the time. And I would know the story, that was a big thing, and Easter was always one of my favourite times. So I knew the story back to front, and I know the whole idea of these two things. So Jesus Christ Superstar was one of my favourite films, and then alongside Jesus of Nazareth. But this was something you could watch in one sitting on Good Friday. It was and I loved it. I know all the names of the songs, just trying to remember them is a bit, my head can't do it, but one of them has to be, I Don't Know How to Love Him. It's just the iconic song. I love Mary Magdalene, I don't know how you say her last name, but Mary Magdalene's song of I Don't Know How to Love Him. The song Superstar, or Jesus Christ Superstar, again, is one of my favourites. Another one would be Gethsemane, just the one where Jesus has a conversation with God. It's so moving and just so, like, I don't know, authentic, and I love it. And depending on who sings it, really is very good. Like, my obsession right now, has been recently, is the Jesus Christ Superstar Tour, Arena Tour, with Ben Foster playing Jesus and Mel C playing Mary Magdalene. And I love it. And I've literally watched it all the time. Every time I go home, it's what I watch. And I love it so much. And I love Ben's version of Gethsemane. It's like, it literally hits me so much. Another one is something else I've been loving as a kid, and if you're a kid and you're most likely to hear it or watch it, is Joseph and his Technicolor Dreamcoat. It is just one of those iconic and classic musicals most people know of. I just genuinely love it, and the soundtrack always just makes me bring me back to being a kid again, and I can't help but love it. So I can't even think of songs. I want to say they have names, but I don't know. One of them would be Pharaoh's Song, which is the one, if you have an interval in a show, that would be when it asks the interval. Close Every Door to Me, Any Dream Will Do. That's one of the classics. What's that? I can't think of the other one. When the brothers go to Egypt to see, and then they see Joseph, but they don't know it's Joseph, and Joseph is Pharaoh. That one. Next one is the Mean Girls, the musical soundtrack. Again, can't see that because it's only in America right now, and obviously can't get to New York right now, so unfortunately can't see Mean Girls the musical, but the musical soundtrack, which I've listened to non-stop, I love. Such a good musical soundtrack, definitely fits in with Mean Girls, and definitely shows the story of Mean Girls as well, but I just love it, and I think I love it a lot more because Barrett Gilbert Reed plays Janice, and her voice is just somewhat thing I love. As I mentioned in Heather's, her voice is amazing, and she is amazing. So, couldn't help but listen to that album. I think that's the reason I listened to it in the first place, and I fell in love with it. Some of my favourite songs are actually Apex Predator, which is between Janice and Katie. World Burn, which is Regina's song near the end. Someone Gets Hurt, both the versions, and Stupid in Love, but the first version of Stupid in Love, not the second one. So, next one is another one that is very well known. It's Les Miserables. I think that's how you say it. I've loved this show since I saw the movie. I didn't really listen to music at all before the movie came out, but I had heard of the show and was like, I need to watch this. So when the movie came out, I watched it, fell in love with it, and understood why it was a big thing, and understood why it's one of the most popular West End shows. This show music was like everything to me. The story is in the music. Like, in the movie, they don't have anyone speaking. It's pretty much just songs. It's just singing all the way through, like Joseph is, and I think why I loved it really much, because usually sometimes I don't get why movies how sometimes they can be told without words and it's just singing, but this one you can really do without speaking. I actually do love musicals when they have just music, no speaking, just them all singing all the way through. So I love it. My favourite songs from Les Mis, this could be a list, but I'm going to try and cut it down, is On My Own, sang by Eponine, A Heart Full of Love, Master of the House, because it's just fun, Empty Chairs and Empty Tables, Do You Hear the People Sing, and like that one with, I don't know what it's called, but I know what one I'm thinking of, when Valjean and the, what is his name, the person in the blue coat, not Russell Crowe, the person who played him, but his character. I know who I'm thinking about, but I can't think of the name. If I remember, I'll put his name in the description or on the screen. Their little confrontation, it's called the confrontation, that's the word. And A Castle on the Cloud by far, my favourite songs from Les Mis. Another one is Phantom of the Opera. I don't know if I've mentioned about this, I'm pretty sure I have. I went to see Phantom of the Opera actually a couple of years ago with my best friend, and it was the best thing I ever did, because I had no clue of the story of Phantom of the Opera, and honestly I'd heard the soundtrack, and I've but I had no clue what the story was. And my friend had the idea because she'd seen the movie, and I was I went in basically clueless, but I fell in love with it, and I'm just still in awe of the performance of everyone. And then in the summer, with my local theatre, there's a theatre company that goes to my local theatre every summer, called Yesos, and they put on a performance of Phantom of the Opera, and it was so good. Like, it literally shook me, and I was just like, oh my god, it was amazing. So it is just one of my favourite soundtracks. I just love it. I'm not like I never used to think I was a fan of opera until then. So there's that. So I saw Phantom of the Opera. My favourite song from Phantom will have to be Wishing You Were Somehow Here Again, All I Ask of You, Part 1 and Part 2, Down Once More, the final song, like it's kind of, and The Point of No Return. Like, I love all the songs, but if I had to choose, they're my 4 favourite. My next one, my 9th and the penultimate one is Wicked. Wicked by far is a musical that I have seen 3 times, and I don't think it's enough. I need to see it again. I really want to see it again, and I'm gonna. Tickets are pretty cheap, so I'm gonna try and see if someone from uni wants to come with me and see it, so I can go and see it because I really want to see it so bad. Might try and do it after Easter. Who knows? But it was I literally live for Wicked. I just love the story. I love everything about it. So yeah, so Wicked. My favourite songs from Wicked would have to be I'm Not That Girl, because it's so relatable. I feel like I could walk around and I see the guy I like always ends up with someone else who's that typical beautiful girl who you know they're going to end up with, and it's not me. So yeah. The Wizard and I just love it. I just think it's a good song, and it shows the voice of the actress playing Elphaba, and I really like it. Another one would be Thank Goodness. The first song, No One Mourns the Wicked, and For Good by far. For Good and Defying Gravity, I think, are actually 2 of my top 2 favourite songs on the album. I didn't mention it first, but they are my top 2 favourite just because Defying Gravity and For Good are both dynamic moments between Elphaba and Glinda, and I love it. And I think it could be because it was in Glee as well, and there were the 2 iconic moments between Kurt and Rachel. The first one, Kurt and Rachel was competing against each other in Defying Gravity, and then the second one in For Good, it was like their friendship. It was when their friendship was made stronger, and I love it so much. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about Glee. But so in Wicked, it's also so good because it kind of does the same thing. It was kind of like Glinda trying to tell Elphaba that she shouldn't do what she's doing, but then For Good is kind of the same. They're still friends. They're always like best friends. And I just love it so much, and it is so good. My final favourite musical soundtrack would be Rent. I love this soundtrack as much as I love this musical. I haven't seen it live. Again, I haven't seen it live, but I have seen the Rent live on Broadway DVD, and in my eyes, that's still as good as seeing it live. It is so good. I love it. I just can't. I love the story behind it as well. Yeah, I'm just gonna go on with my favourite songs from Rent, and it have to be Light My Candle, Out Tonight, Another Day. I think it's like any song Mimi does. Oh, Today For You is a really good one. La Vie Boheme, which is like the whole ensemble on there, it's great. Like all parts of La Vie Boheme, and the little I Should Tell You bit in between. And as much as it's really, really sad, Goodbye Love, when Mimi, I don't want to spoil it, but when Mimi basically is saying she needs to go to rehab, because she's like saying she could die because she's a drug addict, and she's saying goodbye to Roger is his name? Yeah, I literally love that song, even though it's very sad, and it made me cry the first time I saw it. So anyway, that is the end of my top 10 favourite musical soundtracks and songs. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a huge thumbs up, please comment down below, please subscribe, and I will see you again on Thursday with another main channel video.